All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Valerie Fong, Dean of Language Arts, and I'm pleased to present this year's Division Scholarship Awards. Our first award is the Nancy Schrier Award. Nancy Schrier was an enthusiastic teacher at Foothill College for 25 years and enjoyed sharing her passion for poetry and fiction with students. The purpose of this fund is to provide annual awards to Foothill students nominated and chosen by Foothill Language Arts faculty. Specifically, the award is for a student who has taken at least one English class in the current academic year and has demonstrated a passion for creative writing and/or poetry. And special consideration is given to those who have persevered in the face of challenges to pursue their education. And I'm pleased to introduce Professor Stephanie Chan, who will present this year's award recipient.
Thank you, Valerie. I'm really honored to introduce this year's Schrier Award recipient, Josh Contreras. Josh is a household name at Foothill, known widely for his involvement in student government, in student organizations, and the Honors Institute. He has been both a model practitioner of the art of creative writing and a champion of creative writing for Foothill's community. In his creative work, he sought new forms for discussing prescient subjects, among them experiences of being Latinx in the US, the politics of language, and the precariousness and preciousness of tradition. His work, exploring identity and histories of marginalization, are as powerful in their language as in their content. He was also a key organizer in our Classes magazine project in reading, efforts that parallel the leadership role he assumed in helping to run the extracurricular Creative Writing Club and many other organizations at the college. His generosity and belief in community enabled his classmates and students across campus. Congratulations, Josh. Thank you for your commitment to move for student voice, for your activism, your belief in the arts, and for your love of Foothill.
Thank you, Professor Chan. And next, we're pleased to present the Fred H. McClure Award. This award is for a non-native English speaker who has distinguished themselves in an ESL or an English class. This recognition goes to exemplary students whose work and work ethic demonstrates a commitment to learning and excelling. The students may not necessarily have been A students, but have demonstrated through classwork and participation an above average engagement in the learning process. This award recognizes the students' determination to learn and grow, highlighting their persistence, perseverance, and eagerness to reach beyond the standard outcomes of a course. I'm pleased to introduce Professor Ilda Fernandez, who will present this year's award.
Gracias, Valerie. It's been a pleasure working and learning from Sonia Hernandez. As a Puente student early on, Sonia shared that English was one of her worst subjects and that she was unsure she would pass the course. Our plan for success was to meet weekly, and she joined the Pass the Torch program soon after. During our weekly meetings, Sonia shared that she came to the United States from El Salvador at 16 and began her junior year at Gunn High School at 17. There, she worked with tutors consistently, learning English while taking her high school courses. Sonia eventually graduated from Gunn High School 3 years later and received the Gunn Foundation Award, an award in physics, and another for Algebra 2. Fast forward to now. This year, Sonia has worked with the Pass the Torch program tutor and an EOPS tutor, met with me to discuss every essay at least once, and this quarter she met consistently with Professor Brian Lewis at the Village Space for additional tutoring. Funny story. Last week, she and Noelia requested to write a combined longer essay. I said yes. Being the perfectionists they are, they set up a schedule to meet to complete the essay, yet it didn't go smoothly. They couldn't agree on the outline topics and decided to research everything they could about the poet, Jose Olivares, and listen to him read Mexican Heaven numerous times. They then decided to change their work environment, so they went to a park to work in nature, to be more in the free-flowing organic space. Nature didn't help much. So at the park, they worked independently and shared their outline ideas afterwards. They eventually made progress, met another day to draft the essay, then met with me to review the areas of concern, and finally Sonia met with Professor Lewis yesterday since Noelia had to go to work. I'm happy to report that Noelia and Sonia are still friends after this ordeal. Sonia, this is only the beginning for you. You have been awarded the McClure Award for the second year in a row, and you have received the Foothill University Pathway Scholarship this year as well. At 16, you changed the trajectory of your life. As an adult, estoy segurísima that you will change our world for the better. So let me repeat her name once again. Sonia Hernández Hernández, del pueblito de Hilo Vasco, Cabañas, El Salvador. Felicidades and adelante, guerrillera.
Congratulations, Sonia, and thank you, Professor Hernandez. And now I'm pleased to present the Jason Whitten Award. This award honors a student who has taken at least one English class in the current academic year, has persevered in the face of challenges to pursue their education, and who has become an outstanding student in English as demonstrated through their writing. The student has a passion for reading and writing, and also is someone who has overcome adversity to succeed at Foothill. And I'm pleased to introduce Professor Scott Langford, who will present this year's Whitten Award.
Thank you, Dean Fong. I've had Tyrell, who prefers to be called Ty, in 2 classes now. I first met him in English 1B Honors. I have an Introduce Yourself assignment the first week of all my classes. So here's some of what I learned about Ty the first week. He was born in this little bitty town in Georgia, and then his family moved later to the Central Valley. He was raised in a really conservative fundamentalist church. And then as he became an adult, sort of shifted out of that, moved to Coachella. As you can see now, he's a proud dad. Some other things that I learned about Tyrell: he lives in Coachella now. And he said that it was really scary going into the COVID pandemic because, and I'm sharing this with his permission, he also has cerebral palsy. So he's immune suppressed. He's a dad. He's working full time. He's trying to cook dinner for his kids every night. He loves to cook. And in the middle of this, he decides, I want to go back to school, because he'd started out like a lot of our students. You know, he made a first run at college, didn't do that well. So now he's 28 years old, and he's thinking, I want to be a college-educated dad. I want my kids to have a college-educated father. So back he comes. He's got the usual anxieties that a lot of our returning students have. I know Stephanie and Ilda and Valerie have seen this many times. And then they turn out to be so self-disciplined and motivated as learners. So their second time around with college turns out really fantastic. Ty emerged in our English 1B honors class, which I'll mention, I think it might be the most challenging class that I teach. Really difficult readings that stretch students in all directions. And Ty emerged as kind of the extra TA that I needed for my online course. He organized study groups. He motivated other students. He also started out every new assignment coming to my office hour saying, Dr. Scott, I can't do this. This is too hard. I don't understand these readings. And it's like, come on, calm down. We'll talk you through. So each time with each of these readings, and by the way, they're chosen to be really scary and hard. Each time with each reading, he went from, I can't do this, to absolutely mind-blowing insights into some of the most difficult and important literature that's out there. Every single time. And I can't tell you what that does to a teacher's heart and mind to see that voice and that understanding and that self-awareness and that love for literature emerge. Then we got to the end of the English 1B honors course. He did so well, and he decides that he wants to challenge himself. And the next course that I'm teaching happens to be English 5, LGBTQ Lit. So as a straight dad who was raised in a fundamentalist church with plenty of homophobia, he signs up for LGBTQ Lit, and once again starts out saying, I can't do this, this is too hard, I don't understand, and ends up once again kind of being the unofficial TA for the course, encouraging all of our students from all over the state and really the nation. We had people from overseas taking the course online. He's just such a wonderful personality and such a warm and engaging person. So in discussions, setting up study groups, once again, he was basically the unofficial TA. And I'll just end by saying that he volunteered for a special extra credit assignment where he literally represented Foothill College at the annual statewide community college LGBTQ student summit. So Mr. Straight Dad with the 2 kids living in Coachella represented Foothill College and grew so much and learned so much and was once again so engaging and engaged with students from around California in these issues that he really, admittedly didn't know much about going into it. Now he's talking about, hey, maybe it's time for me to start thinking about UCs, applying to Stanford, all this other cool stuff. And so he's gone from hey, I guess I should take a class or 2 in pandemic, to thinking that this is future career trajectory for him and pathway. I think he'll end up as an educator. His spouse is an educator. I'll let him become anything he wants, but I think he's born to be a teacher or a professor. In the middle of LGBTQ Lit, right after the LGBTQ online summit, his whole family gets COVID, right? So he's cooking for his sick kids and his spouse and trying to keep the family together. And then he's facing eviction until recently. So they both had to work overtime to fend off eviction. And when the award came through, the Whitten Award, Ty literally sent me an email and said, I can't tell you what this means to my family because we had canceled our summer vacation. We couldn't afford it. We're about to be evicted. And now my family can have a summer vacation. So I think it's an especially beautiful thing that we were able to honor Ty having survived the COVID pandemic and eviction threats and everything else. And it's been a wonderful partnership. Thank you very much for letting me share my excitement about Tyrell Baker.
Thank you. And so on behalf of all of the faculty in the Language Arts Division, we congratulate this year's Scholarship Award recipients. Thank you.